Yeah, very, very isolated Tarkin indeed. Let's just assist with these TIE fighters coming in. Though massive, massive spray of rockets going in. Looks like a lot of them missed somehow though, but absolutely stripping those shields. That will take a second pass though. Hello, and welcome back finally to Star Wars Empire at War, of course, as the CIS. We have in the previous video taken Kamino, and you can see afterwards I have decided to take the rest of the planets in this sector of the galaxy. That'd be Ando, Christophsis, Rhodia, Nelvon and Tatooine. Did that off of camera simply because they're very, very easy battles. I don't think it would have been particularly enjoyable to watch that. There's a lot of just going in and wiping the floor with the enemy there. So we've done that very quickly, and that does leave the Republic to just the core worlds over here. And that is quite the prospect there actually. So we're moving forwards, defending very heavily, going to of course bring Auto and the rest of the fleets over to this sector to go to Decanomoidia and I think to Ethor. We do have a mission to capture Kilura. Should we take a look at that? Let's see, so target Kilura, we get a recusant class dreadnought. We've not seen one of those for quite some time actually. We do have quite some time to do that, but we are in a good position to strike that already because we are positioned above there quite nicely indeed. We don't have any intelligence of that though. So where can we build a very quick spy droid there? And we'll double check exactly what units we do have about. We've got some nice vehicles over here in Dwarf Spiders, got some Hailfires and artillery, some good gunships and B2s, again B1s for some nice chaff. We do have our Dark Jedi hero over here. What sort of command does he give? He gives tier 4 commands, not necessarily bad exactly, it's nice to have that in the first place. A little lacking on infantry then, but certainly made up by having that particular hero there. He can certainly carry some weight with him. So I think that would be for the main aim today, is of course taking Kilura. And I think maybe even taking Humbarin finally to really close in that gap there. So once again, I think we are going to create a probe droid for that, and we'll consolidate our power around there. We've got a couple of these tactical droids about, so I want to think about using those as well. But I think firstly we will bring up Auto to protect Decanomoidia, and we'll bring up this fleet over here to Ethor to protect that, and we'll start bringing up some battle units as well because we really don't need all of these units down here anymore, do we? Let's see. Let's bring them all the way up at least to Mimban so that they've got some sort of soft protection there. Massive, massive land invasions capable now. Let's come over here. Bring this young lady over to I think quarter 6, and we'll start scouting I think these two planets. They did have a large fleet headed by a Praetor at Kuat from what I remember. See if that's moved about at all. They do have some very nice defense on Humbarin here, a lot of production, and a planetary shield generator with a good standing garrison as well. So that's very, very interesting indeed. It's rather an interesting map. I've played this one before. I forget which planet from though. We'll be starting down on this bottom sector of the map with a lot of these capture points open for use. Or we could go straight for their production. Now, that's going to be very dangerous indeed. That's going to be a very bloody battle as well. But what's Kilura looking like? Let's have a look. Okay, so fairly heavy there as well. That's not going to be easy. They have a planetary shield generator. Some of these falchions, some of these, I forget what they're called, A5RX battle tanks, which are generally anti-infantry there, as we can see. They've got a fair amount of hit points. They come with 2 per company. Rather nasty indeed. Yeah, okay, so this is the larger field type map, and it's going to be a toughie. Going to be a bit of a toughie, but I think we should be able to do it. We've got a lot of forces able to do it. We'll be coming down this top sector here. Certainly want to try and come down straight to the planetary shield generator because we will need orbital support. So let's try and bring in one of these larger groups that we've just got up and consolidate everything here. Should need everything, surely, but it's nice just to get these into a good position. Make sure we have some good options. Right, so let's move that separately. Now let's have a look at that a little better, get a clearer idea of what we do have about here. We do have a fair amount of B2s, got some B1s, some crabs. I think we should be absolutely fine with 6 AATs and such. Let's go straight into this. Okay, so we're starting with the B1s. We certainly want, I think, a couple of these J1s out. We want some B2s, and I think we certainly want the hero. Now, I think we might also want the HMPs out for just some extra control there. We certainly want a military base. We could try and capture the abandoned barracks in the sector over to our north over here. So let's go and do that. Have a scout around. We'll get some control groups going. Have a scout about with the gunships. They can run back. Okay, let's get our B1s over here. That is a hesitant local garrison. That's absolutely fine. Maybe we can persuade them. Let's get rid of these special ops troopers. They were part of the standard garrison. Get rid of some of these walkers here because they are very nasty indeed. Lovely stuff. And the ULAVs are going to be quite a bother for pretty much everything we have. Well, they will get sniped by the J1s. We were trying to build some pads over here that we're only about. We've taken that garrison, which is excellent. Taking a bit of damage to our shields though. Let's get rid of these walkers because they will be nasty for our hero to deal with. We should probably be targeting that tank, but I think we want to draw that towards the microns really, the artillery. Yeah, we can see the falchion now getting some shots in. That big beam, that's going to do a lot of damage. And that's our cue to run away now. Oh dearie dear, that's a losser. That's a losser. Oh dear. Okay, so the microns need to fire on this, please. And also fire over here. That is a losser. Microns onto the tank, please. Yeah, those bikes are really going to hurt us. Let's get some gunships on there, please. Micron's really dealing with that very well, actually. Get over here once again. Jedi on that, thank you. Micron's on to the, nearly called that a 2M repulse tank. Been playing too much of the Empire in other games. It's a saber tank there, for some clarity there. Now I think we're getting out of that okay. We did lose some infantry, but that's absolutely to be expected with the amount of speeder bikes they sent in. So I think now we can bring in some AATs for some good assault there, and just some chaff again, and the B1s will be absolutely fine. We've got some good utility in our other units. Microns are firing on this, are they? They don't quite have the range or the sight. Still keeping some good health though on to our hero, who can be used as scouts for our microns. Just protect those a little harder with the AATs, and I will bring in some B1s over here to create a repair station for these HMPs. Now we are ripping apart that unit there. That can crush us though, so I want to keep our Jedi with some distance over there. He can carry on scouting there. And the J1s should be okay there. Just double check, he can self-heal. And this is an ion beam, so that will be doing more of an anti-vehicle damage there. Getting some damage there. J1s might want to just hang back a tad. Okay, let's pull back. And we'll pull back here as well. He's done scouting. Not a problem with holding our ground for now. Absolutely not a problem. Let's pull back, please. That was not an attack move, command. Bring him over here, thank you. And we are healing very nicely there. What did we actually get out of that garrison? We've completely ignored it. But even if it is just to make sure the enemy is denied that, very happy for it. To remove these clones. Got something sneaking up the back there. So, shall we actually try to move forwards? That would be nice, wouldn't it? That would certainly be nice. Looks like we've dealt largely with the enemy's tanks, which is excellent. Our infantry will be that much safer. And we'll use the gunships as a good reactionary force now. So let's move down to this command post. That'll be a lovely 3 extra pop points for us. Certainly move forward over here with our hero. It's going to be very, very useful indeed. Let's get the AATs onto this walker, shall we? And that speeder. Let's actually focus that speeder a little harder. Lovely. Don't like those at all. We're controlling this area of the map. Let's get rid of that field base if possible there, shall we? Get rid of that speeder. Okay, so if we use guard on the J1s there. Oh, bollocks. Completely forgot about that. And we've lost the HMPs to a massive amount of units over there. Big mistake. Big mistake. We'll actually capture this, shall we? And we see another falchion coming around. So, some dwarf spiders. Do we have the J1's about to fast snipe that? Thank you. Keep the AAT separate. Wanted really to get some CIS over here as well. You can see we're doing some fair damage over there. And once we capture this, we can actually land some reinforcements here, which would be amazing. Okay, can we get the J1s on here? That does have a lot of health. Pull back a tad. Get the hero onto these clones. And I think what we'll do is some artillery would be nice to help us out there. Some more B2s for ground support. And I think, very much liking gunships. Very much liking gunships. It does leave us with a pop point spare. We should be alright for that. Let's pull back the J1s. They're in rather a pickle. Micro has never been great. Okay, let's risk this out again. And what we can do is start moving once again. Lost some health in this J1. Let's build a repair station here. How we're doing. So long as those missiles don't fire at our units, but we are going to be targeted by that falchion once again, so let's get out. Something's destroyed that repair station, which is rather a shame. We do need to move down, though, to this planetary generator. The artillery's dealt with this fairly handily as well. We are going to get flanked over here. Probably just snipe this one down very quickly. In fact, the artillery got that, which is brilliant. Let's get rid of this. Bombardment finally available, and I think we'll certainly start to use it. Might just get the second falchion with that once that's baited out. There we go, you can see it there. Okay, it might actually be better to... No, let's just bombard that very quickly, thank you. And... come on, let's retreat out of there, thank you. We're going to lose them again. Are we losing the infantry and such over here, please? Guess on top of that. Lovely. And the J1s, please fire on that. Thank you. Get some good shots in. Let's advance through here then. Brilliant. Let's get some scouting going over here. Pull back. Yeah, okay, there. Attack moving up there, not a problem. This should be enough to go down here. Lovely stuff. Let's just pull over here, thank you. Get a med bay there. Move in. A little harder. Get rid of the barracks, thank you. And that Jedi's really helping destroy that. Really ripping us apart, but we're also getting shots in the back now. I think what we can do is just move a little safer down here. Gunships will deal with the infantry in our flank there very handily. And that, I think, is pretty much a good victory there. Got an anti-vehicle turret there. Let's get rid of this, thank you. Let's pull back a tad. Get rid of these clones with their rockets, because yeah, that's going to remove 1 HMP there. Okay, let's run. Let's absolutely run down here. Wouldn't mind getting some reinforcements down there, but not a problem. We've dealt with the Senator's office very nicely, thank you. Just got to pull back here and deal with the factories again. That thing won't give us anything there. Let's set up with the artillery. In fact, the J1s can snipe that now. There we go, lovely stuff. Do have an anti-tank turret there, let's deal with that. That's trying to deal through here, but the trees are blocking it, excellent. Okay, we don't actually have any anti-vehicle capabilities there, which is a shame. Come back here. Got some B2s. How we're dealing with this factory, very nicely indeed. Get rid of the tax collection agency, I believe that was. There we go. Finally getting somewhere. And it's just cleaning up now. And there we go. A little bit messy, but you know, got some rust to shave off after a 2-week break. But we're certainly very happy with that recusant class dreadnought at Koraa now. So that's excellent. Let's build up the necessary structures, and we do have that in this massive fleet now. It's given us a lot of options there. Is that entirely necessary to have the dreadnought in that particular fleet? Where else would we really send it? Maybe to one of the defensive fleets? It's not really getting a lot of use out of it though. We've got a lot of big fleets here, don't we? A lot of big fleets. It's sort of redundant in a lot of them actually. We don't need them with Grievous. What we need with Grievous is more carriers. We might actually just pick up these. What exactly is this? A Storm Fleet destroyer with a lot of Proton torpedoes. So I think we'll reinforce Grievous while we think about it with some very basic carriers. Always like to see them. Do we need to reinforce you with anything? Not entirely sure really. Maybe not at the moment. We're absolutely fine there. Let's send this command droid over here. Wouldn't mind seeing some more minor carriers out here. We are building the final space station there, which is excellent on Rendili. But they've come from Comm to attack New Plympto. So, ooh, okay, that is interesting. They've brought a Praetor and Tarkin. They're very serious about this. And I don't remember, yeah. We've left that one open, which is very silly. Should have spotted that a lot sooner. But not a problem. We can certainly deal with that with a reactionary force, but it might be a little bit too late. Who do we send in to react to that? I'm thinking this massive fleet here will certainly deal with that. But will that be back in time to react before we actually lose New Plympto there? Well, unfortunately the answer there is no. We are going to lose New Plympto. There's not a lot we can do about that. 6 UT-80s, another Falchion, but they also have some very nice generals over here. Ron Mock should be fairly well known. We also have Hurst Ramodi. Not familiar with that name myself, but it does come in an A5 Juggernaut. So we're going to be dealing with a lot of their remaining power here. This is a battle we do need to take. We're very close. It's coming in from Rendili. We are going to sacrifice New Plympto in the short term, but it's absolutely not a problem there. We can certainly deal with that. And how are we doing here? Let's absolutely take that battle before the enemy builds anything up there. And it looks like they have already retreated with a lot of their Lang units. They're very quick on that. So, yeah, they have already built some interdiction mines. That's a shame, because the plan here was to spawn in a load of basic carriers and then use their emergency jump to get rid of them, and then bring in a lot of heavy fighting ships. We could probably still do that if we bring these spread out. If we spread them out over here. Might as well bring in all of them. We're going to want all of them anyway. And that would do for now. Use the fighters to remove the interdiction mines. They're being laid by the galleons. so they're not necessarily difficult to remove, but they do bring some point defence. Quite the mixed fleets here, both old and new ships and the Invincible, Victories and Praetors there. Come on, just wait for the fighters to come out. So let's come for the interdictions with the fighters, and of course the bombers can get grouped up. Bombers, I think, should go straight for Tarkin. He's isolated, provides some tier 2 command, and of course is a carrier in his Venator there. So let's take a couple of these fighters over to the second interdiction mine. Yeah, very, very isolated Tarkin indeed. Let's just assist with these TIE fighters coming in. There are massive, massive spray of rockets going in. Looks like a lot of them missed somehow though, but absolutely stripping those shields. That will take a second pass though. Let's pull back. Tie these up, thank you. We should be alright there. Let's bomb that immediately once again. Get on top of these interdiction mines, please. They might just instantly lay a second one though. So we're going to need to be quick with this, if that is indeed the case. Let's slow him down, shall we? Destroy his engines, thank you very much. We deal with the first mine, not quite yet. Let's go. There we go, destroying his engines is very, very nice indeed. Let's try and pull out already with these. Going to need to be careful with this though. Come on, please. No, come on. Why can't we? Oh, it's because we're trying to retreat. That's why, you bastard. So, looks like we have managed to retreat, but before we now... what's happened here? We are retreating, so before we now lose this battle because we've got no people left, let's bring in something to deal with these ships, shall we? Let's bring in 2 bulwarks to tank and deal with the victory, and we're certainly bringing in Auto for command, bringing a couple of these for some good fighter support, and when we've lined that up, I think we'll have to bring in some diamonds, won't we, to protect. That has really helped us out there, excellent stuff. Tarkin's still about, so he's still providing that help, so let's just get rid of him. Destroy these concussion missile launchers, thank you very much. So I didn't realise that we'd be losing the fighters along with the carriers, but not a problem there. Let's get rid of this fleet commander. At least we have managed to snipe a very important ship. So that does mean we're quite lacking in the carrier capacity now. We're going to need to bring in a lot of these Providences for that. Not too much of a bother, not too much of a bother. We do have the diamonds to protect against bombers and such. Wait for the Praetor to move in a little bit more. I think what we'll do is we'll bring in something else over here. What do we want to bring in? What pop cap do we have left? Not a lot. Maybe another of these bulwarks to tank, and then some munificence where possible, but that only leaves a couple of those, unfortunately. Not a bother, not a bother. What we'll do is we'll come around. I really want to destroy these 2 ships as well, so I think we're going to have to come in here. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do for now. Okay. Deal with that thing. Actually, deal with Praetor, please. And we'll use the powerful weapons over here. Deal with this, thank you. Powerful weapons there to maximise the anti-shield capabilities. And we have some droids to bring in here to deal with the enemy bombers, which will be a massive problem. Initial objective complete. How are we doing over here? Do all that. Just move that around, you can carry on there. Lovely stuff. Losing a lot of weapons over here though. Let's be a little more efficient about this, shall we? Thank you. Start targeting the hard points very specifically to get rid of the heavy quad turbo lasers of this Praetor. Now there are of course a lot of other ships which are going to be doing damage in the name of these dreadnought cruisers. So let's try and start whittling those down with our bombers. Let's start trying to find these quad turbo lasers once again. We dealt with the victory over here, excellent. Dealt with that, brilliant. Flanking force is certainly doing its job. We have 10 points free, and that will do for another munificent there. Got a lot of firepower behind them. Looks like we're about to lose perhaps one of these, which I'm not very happy about. Let's get those on top of the dreadnoughts there, and that would be brilliant. Let's actually focus the engines in case the enemy does decide to retreat. We can get you over here. Galleons will not be able to keep up with the repairs necessary here. It looks like the enemy's fighters and such are not being too much of a bother. They're just being tied up enough there, which is excellent. That's all we want to see. We could probably lose this bulwark, but not too much of a bother. Really, we got enough of our needed money to buy those once again. Get rid of these engines, thank you. Deal with the quad turbo lasers on this side. Could do with a bit more micro over here, thank you. That final engine will do, and that will be the end of the Praetor. Excellent stuff. Let's try and move this away. A little too late there, really. It's gone. Not a problem. Not a problem. We've got to expect some losses, and that's really not a problem at all. Start moving in on the rest there, and they are in fact trying to jump away. So let's just focus engines, please, so they don't get away so much. Please, and that will certainly do their very nice victory. Happy to take that indeed. So a bit of a learning curve there with the emergency jump with the hangars, but absolutely not a problem. Losing some very minor diamonds and munifexes, but the bulwark, we can certainly bring that back. They only have one Tarkin, and that must be their last invincible, with the being in the final era now. They get locked out at era 3, so they can't build any more of those. 2 fleet commanders down, and of course a Praetor, which means we do want to now scout Kuat. We do have some probe droids over here for that. Humbarian's looking okay. In fact, that's got Sate Pestage there, so that's very, very useful to want to take actually, because he's quite the nice administrator for them. And they do still have a Praetor over here as well. In fact, where are we? Yeah, they have one, a couple of Venators. They don't have hypervelocity capabilities, but they do have a massive amount of orbital defences still, so that is going to be rather tough. Rather tough indeed. I think we're going to want to just make a fleet of basic carriers and warp jump out of there when things are getting too spicy, and come in multiple waves with that. Do we still have? Yeah, we do still retain the carriers over here, which is excellent. I want to jump into New Plympto as quickly as possible. We have a new mission: create 2 heavy factories for a couple recusant light destroyers. We can certainly do that. We do have Kilura to build upon, so we can make them there. Why not? Make that a heavy production factory. Sounds good to me. We do also need to make the required orbital factories as well. So I do like to make a barracks, and we might as well create a planetary shield generator, with that being on our border worlds. But with the massive orbital force here, not too sure they will be attacking our land base there. We will be moving this fleet back, just so that doesn't get caught up in any potential ground activities there. I will just dump down on you Plympto, and I think we're gonna be lazy. Only lost some spider walkers. Absolutely fine there. We can certainly live with that. It's a cost we didn't want to necessarily pay to rebuild New Plympto, but we're gaining 38,000 in total before reductions, before tax. So that's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine indeed. So what do we want to do next? I don't want to split too much, but I think taking Comm would be a good next step, actually, thinking about it. So let's scout that properly, because we don't have true CIS on there. That's absolutely fine. So, what exactly do we have with this land force here? A lot of units. Where did our where do we put our Destroyer Mark IIs? Because I was hoping to use those. Got a lot of them here. We've got 3 units there, and that will actually be very nice indeed to take Comm. And over here, they do not have ground to orbit capabilities, and a single Venator does defend the orbital zone, which is excellent. It's actually quite a decent map for infantry as well. It's less of a tank-friendly battlefield there. We will be seeing ATTs because we do have 2 advanced factories and a barracks as well as a cloning facility. So certainly strategically important for the enemy there. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is just move northwards to get the 3-point cap there, and then just move straight to the enemy base. Very simple indeed. Let's bring down then our new Type or Mark II battle droids there, droidicas, and we want to support them. We are going to be seeing a lot of heavy vehicles, so I think J1s again. And for a little more control, it's very tempting to bring in a hero already, especially Count Dooku for that massive tier 3 ground support there. But I think we're not really doing too well in terms of chaff, are we? So just some more B2s will do the job there, I think. Quite a nice all-rounder there. Will absolutely do the job. Garrison some B2s down here, I think. Just build some turrets to secure us there. Start moving this force northwards. A garrison here as well, just to hold out a tad. Let's just control group quickly. Control those to 2 and J1s to 1 will be nice. Move up. They're very mobile, of course, and we don't need to switch to their ion cannons. Which means a little less micro for us, and that's very nice indeed because we're bloody terrible at micro. Yeah, okay, we've got some scouting going. We're going to lose those immediately because they have their shields are not up, and that was a bit of a waste. Should have known not to send them in first. Microns need to come back, please, so they can snipe the ATTs. Thank you. Get on top of here. Alright, so move them back. Yeah, there's a lot of good anti-infantry coming out there. Oh, I've lost the bloody microns. Look at that, absolutely terrible. Walk straight into the enemy there. And that is rather a loss already. Rather a loss already. So we're going to bring in some artillery in the back. Going to bring in a lot of these. And I think... Is it worth bringing in a hero? I think it is. We'll bring in... Ventress does have the area of effect ability. Let's bring in Dooku. Well, that was embarrassing. Got a little too cocky there. I need to do a slow, mediated approach there. That's okay. There's a lot of losses already. Massive amounts of losses. A lot of B2s disappeared. I'm not entirely sure this is the best composition either. We're going to be relying on that artillery quite a bit. Okay, if Dooku soaks up that fire. they're okay. They're not shredding like I'd expect them to. It's a lot of heavy burst fire coming out though. Oh dear. I'm going to need them now. Okay, who comes back here? Really need the dwarves on this, please. Thank you very much. Done there. Excellent. Focus over here. Thank you. Oh, wait, let's pull forwards with Dooku. Okay. Alright, should have done this a bit better, but you know what? Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Can certainly live with it. So, they're alright. They're alright. We need to micro their protection a little bit better with these droidicas. I thought with their numbers and just far advanced anti-infantry blasters, we were doing a bit better with those, really. Really thought we'd be doing a bit better. What do we want to bring in? Spider walkers just get ripped apart by ACTs. I forget this is a hovercraft, so that can come back over here. I think I want to bring in some more crabs here. Tempted to bring some Optoptaras, but they're very, very slow and they're going to struggle with the narrow pathways down here. Another ATT coming in, so let's pull back here, bring up the dwarves. Look at that. How are we? That is a crusher. If we can bring these together, we can get a good orbital bombardment on them. Might be a bit of a waste by the time it comes in. Let's just get it on here, shall we? And that can reload a bit later on. Lovely stuff. A lot of health. Got a lot of health. Okay, we do need to move forwards though. Actually, what these can do is just protect the artillery. Standing idle with Dooku, not ideal. We haven't used his abilities, which is even more egregious. But we would have to get rid of this advanced factory now, so the massive amount of dwarf spiders will be very useful indeed. Might actually want to turn that into a back to healing station, really, but not a problem. Okay, let's move back a tad here. Another one. Another ATT. Let's just get rid of that factory, thank you. Really no need to fire on that, thanks. Let's go for the air station. Back a tad. Just to get rid of this. So that'll be the cloning station. Does it provide garrisons? Does not, so it's not much of a bother going for that. Let's find that second advanced factory, shall we, to stop those ATTs. That might even be the last one. I think it is. Disappeared now though. Okay, let's get started on here. Onto the barracks. What do we see over here? We see that ATT coming through. Pull up a tad. Where's that artillery? That really should be coming over here. They can't tank though, they have to move back a tad because that will deal with them. Terrible micro, you can see the rust is really kicking in here. Dealt with the barracks, lovely. Let's deal with that, thank you. Painful to watch, I'm sure. Just dealing with that with a lot of anti-infantry fire is not the right way to go about that at all. So heavy infantry losses there, and certainly unacceptable on that opening push. Needed a little bit more care with that and would have been absolutely fine, I think. completely wasted the J1s there, so we will be admitting to that mistake. But that is now another choke point under our control, and what was that? Finish the. Let's see. Oh, okay. New hero. Why? Why have we got a new hero? Don't know. Got a message there. So what do? They increase our income from the planet they're sat on by 30%. They come in a diamond cruiser, so not particularly useful. Want to find our richest planet then, which is probably Raxa Secundus at 1400 there. We'll double check exactly what commercial acumen is. I think it might just be the base. Okay, so just the galactic credit stream. So at 1400, let's see, Naboo might be quite high at 1200, 1000 on Ryloth, 500 on Mustafar. Yeah, so I think Raxa Secundus is probably our best bet for them. Alright, see. I wonder if we have any other heroes just turned up. We do in that stack. Who is this? Yarko Stark. Another administrator, which is excellent, which also comes in a recusant light destroyer, so can be used as a pusher, and he can help with building up structures very quickly. It's interesting to come all the way down from Rathana. Let's move him to... He doesn't even need to take part in battles. Moving to Juaningo's force. Should really be using the Viceroy list more actively, having said that. Because the Viceroy is a very good administrator at 30%. So what we'll do with him is actually build up a load of B1s over here and replace the Microns over here. Of course, the way to use those droidicas is to use the B1s as bait and damage soak, and then sit behind them. I think we'll turn this into a bit of a fortress. I want the production from the multiple heavy factories. You get another barracks there as well, it's not bad. So, one more fight, I think. One more fight. So what do we want to do? Would love to attack Hambari, and I don't believe they had a hypervelocity cannon there, did they? Don't believe they did. Let's come back down to... Oh, we got another mission. Construct an ion cannon for some LR-57s. I mean, we can just build them. We've got Christophsis. We can build them. In fact, we've not really bothered with the infrastructure over here. Okay, did we guess over here? We did. Is that really going to help? It's not really showing us. You can't sit down there. Only plus 60 there, that's interesting. Maybe we might want to put him somewhere else. Just have a look at this. Yeah, there's not a lot. Goes to Mon Cal. So we're getting more out of Mon Calamari. I wonder if it is actually better to go to somewhere like a mining world like Naboo. So we'll send him down there. It's interesting. Not that we're too worried at the moment about min-maxing completely, of course. Let's come back to Dekkan and Moida over here and build another bulwark for Orto's fleet. Might be an idea to go to Kaikelius there just to block off any reinforcements a little bit more, and Corrida would be a nice idea as well. Let's do that. Scouts out, thank you. And yeah, let's build bulwark there. Do we need anything for Juaningo? Could probably do with a Providence if we really want. If we really want, that'd be nice. Just as something. So this would be quite an easy takeover. That'd be nice choke points. And we did remember, or decide, we didn't remember, that they don't actually have any ground-to-orbit weaponry over here, and I want to get rid of Saint Pestage simply because he's a good administrator, and this is a massive ground production planet here with all of these varieties of factories. That's going to be a similar map to what was done. So I think, yeah, going in with Juningo's fleet would be ideal. Just want to bring in a few more carriers with that particular fleet though. So let's come to Caton and Moidia and just spam out a few carriers there, and that won't take very long at all. And just as we're done building those particular ships, we do have a mission to send stealth units to Furost and Kuat to receive 2 Captain Munitions carriers. I think we'll do that. It's quite nice to see. We have already sent something to Furost anyway, but it's not difficult to send something else to Kuat. And that does say just stealth units, so we'll just send over Count Dooku over there to have a quick look. So Furost, we were scouting just to see if there's anything adjacent to threaten our invasion of Kaikelis. There's not really, and that's actually looking quite a decent takeover there. Do have a few orbital defences.
New unit online.
Might have to send over a. Just wait for the cycle to change around there. Is that gonna recognise it? No, that's very interesting. Alrighty, well, let's finally, I think, attack Kumbarin. Just double check we've got a Pathfinder there. We certainly do. So it's got to the point we've got so many varieties of ships in this particular fleet. We can't even find Juningo. For some reason we've got Hellfire droids in there. That's a massive mistake. So we'll bring in all 3 of these. How are they different to the other carriers? We're just not allowed more than 10 in one particular stat. That's absolutely fine. Bring in Juningo towards the back here. Cersei wants a Bulwark 2 to tank. And of course you want some provenances for their torpedoes and carrying capacity. We also want some sort of what do we have over here? That's enough battering power, I think. Let's just bring that in for now, see how our makeup's looking. I think maybe one more standard bulwark to save on some points, couple more of these, and I'll bring in some point defense there. I have a lot of extra point defense actually. Just pause. These Vengeance don't, or Interceptors rather, don't provide it. So that's what we're missing out on. But we do have a lot of fighters on the way though, don't we? Let's bring in, I think, bring in a captor towards the back there. Kolovex provides point defense. Don't need to bring in this guy. All of this fuss just over a simple base. Let's just go big and heavy and go with another bulwark. Bring in some more minor corvette frigates and such. All good there. I shall rip this apart very easily either way, and it'll be quite a lovely, easy victory once again. Only some minor supports there in the orbital space for the Republic. Let's move our fighters forwards as ever. Just enjoying being back at the game. Just enjoying being back. Okay, so let's group up our potential bombers. Get rid of the point defense corvettes here. You see our massive turbo lasers having a bit of trouble there targeting them, but they will get some hits in. So, fighters, please come in. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. We're going to focus the tri-droids onto the Y-wings there. What do we want to hit with our bombers is the question. I quite like just wiping things clean, so no such thing as overkill. Let's go for the cruiser here. Let's also just wait for these bombers to clear. In fact, what we'll do is we'll control or attack move forwards, get over here, get on that for some very minor micro there, and we'll just reissue those orders there because it's quite easy with your control group naturally. Ripping apart the enemy fighters is always fun. Have massive superiority there, we do. It's always good to see. So the bombers are going to be fairly slow. That's not a problem. We'll keep some of these more minor fighters in the back. Quite a slow advance with our massive, massive ships here. I wonder if that's because of any particular reason with pathing that with other ships. Reissue the order there. We have won that fighter escapade there. Let's move out to these bombers. We've got 2 ships in one here, so we might get some sort of collateral with any missed shots. A lot of clumped up hard points here for our bombers to really attack there, which is excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So look at that, ripping that apart. I think that was a good choice. So let's bring our bombers over to destroy the, what is this, a trade port over here. Very, very important structure that is. Of course. Let's micro this out a little bit more so we can protect our bombers a tad better. I'll bring in these bulwark stationed fighters here, and the bulwarks and such can just rip apart the escorting acclimators and such very, very easily indeed. The massive wave of rockets never gets old seeing that. That's why we play the CIS, of course. And there we go, 0 losses, as expected, of course. So, that, unfortunately, guys, before we go to take Bahrain, or even receive a counterattack from this massive fleet, which would be ideal, that is unfortunately going to be it for today, guys. We have been recording for quite some time. We got some things done today, which is excellent. So, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for coming back to the series. I hope you have been enjoying it. Please do leave any feedback and such in the comments below. Always very much appreciate that. But in the meantime, thank you very much for coming once again, and I hope all of your nights and days are auspicious, and have a great new year, guys. Bye-bye.